welcome to Late Night Liberty. Tonight's show will be about Thomas Jefferson and his scandals during his presidency. Now here's your host, Jenny D.
Mr. President, it's a pleasure to have you here. Can you please start off with telling us a little bit about yourself, like how you grew up?
Well, I was born on the 13th of April, 1743, in Shadwell, Virginia. Me, my two sisters, and four brothers were born to Jane Randolph and Peter Jefferson, my lovely father. My father came from a modest family of farmers. My mother is a descendant of kings from Scotland and England. At 17, I began my studies at the College of William and Mary. When I finished my studies around 1767, I began a law practice, and from there my political career took off. And here I am now, today, as your president of the United States of America.
So, Mr. President, what are your views on slavery?
Very good question, my friend. But I do feel that slavery is incredibly disgraceful, and it's also an enormous threat to the survival of this American nation.
And now, a question from the audience. You stated that you're against slavery. May I ask why you personally own slaves?
It's a very good question, my audience member. See, I knew in my heart that slavery was wrong, but I never gave up my slaves. Sadly, I questioned how we as slave owners would be judged by God for the practice of slavery. I also tried to justify in my own mind why it would be bad for the country to free the slaves. But that aside, I did try my best to dismiss the subject of slavery.
Well, Mr. President, there have been many rumors circulating around town about you and Sally Hemings. How do you feel about that?
Know what it looks like! I find the rumors to be completely ludicrous and repulsive, as my relationship with Miss Hemings has never been remotely sexual. Just out of here.
Please explain why Miss Hemings' children have a fair complexion and bear resemblance towards you.
I have no idea as to why Miss Hemings' children have a fair complexion and bear a similar resemblance to me. As I already stated, there is no way Miss Hemings' children are mine, as my relationship with Sally is completely platonic. Please do not ask me any more questions regarding the matter.
What have you done to try and end slavery?
After the American Revolution, I became actively involved in legislation, and I hoped it would result in abolition of slavery. I drafted a Virginia law that prohibited importation of enslaved Africans. I also proposed the ordinance that would ban slavery in the Northwest Territories. I hoped it would be enough.
Mr. President, how do you feel about the death penalty?
Punishment for crimes is necessary, but it should be proportioned to the crime. One example, if someone were to commit a murder, then they shall pay death. I also believe if someone commits the act of rape, then they shall also pay in death as well.
Mr. President, what is your view on the role of religion in government?
In the interesting question on whether freedom of religion is compatible with order in government and with laws, we have experienced the comfort that results from leaving everyone to be openly religious, or not. One of the amendments in the Constitution expressly declares that Congress should make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting freedom of speech or press.
Mr. President, you have been lucky enough to get to know many famous people. What are your thoughts on General George Washington?
Yes, I have. Well, I have occasionally clashed with him, particularly as a member of the First Cabinet. I have always had a great respect for him. He's a fellow Virginian, and he has great value as a military and revolutionary leader in 1781. I wrote to him when Virginia was in extreme danger.
His mind was great and powerful. He had a strong feature in his character, with prudence, patience, until every circumstance was maturely weighed. He is a pure and strong person.
So, Mr. President, what was your role or part that you played in the Declaration of Independence? And was it as easy as it seems?
I am the one who made the rough draft. I wear 2.5 leaves. I discussed ideas about equal rights with teachers and other delegates. It was during the day, the late afternoon, that Congress approved the Declaration of Independence. The President of Congress then signed it. John Hancock. Then the declaration was legal and binding.